Welcome to the Austin Biz Buzz, the podcast that builds the buzz about Austin business. So kick up your feet and turn your brain on. It's time to talk Austin business right now. Here's Herdy.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Austin Biz Buzz, where we build the buzz about Austin business. And today we're talking to Kathy Pieper, and she's with Learning Cycle Tutors. But before we talk to her and ask her some questions about exactly what she does, I want to thank my sponsor, Mike O'Neill, Money Coach LLC. You can find him at mkoneal.com. Kathy, welcome to the Austin Biz Buzz.
Hi, good afternoon, Herdy. Thank you for having me.
And I know you're excited.
Yes, I am.
You even told me you were nervous.
I am nervous, for sure.
Well, you know, the cool thing about this is we just want folks to be themselves and have some fun. And so today we're going to get to know Kathy Pieper, and you're with the Learning Cycle Tutor. And I was really curious about that when I first met you in our network group, because I was going, what kind of title is in a business like it says Learning and Cycle and Tour? And I thought that was kind of cool. So we're going to find that out today. So I guess that is the first question, Kathy, is what is the Learning Cycle Tutor?
So Learning Cycle Tutors was a company that was started about 5 years ago by someone who's become a good friend of mine in Cedar Park. His name is Mike Schenk, and he's an avid cyclist. And I actually met him through our common interest in cycling. So when I met him, I had recently relocated from the Dallas area where I had my own tutoring business for 12 years. So he was at a point where he was ready to move in a different direction in his life. And I had taken a teaching job when I moved here and quickly realized that I absolutely 100% missed working with my students and families and parents one-on-one. And so it just sort of just naturally evolved organically that, you know, he wanted to move on and I wanted to get back to what my passion was. And so I took over his business, and it was effective as of January 1st of this year.
And so that's how you tie together the Learning Cycle Tutor, right? That you got the cycle aspect and the learning aspect. Okay, I get it.
Within education and teaching, there's a model called, you know, the learning cycle that, you know, when you go to teacher school, they teach you all about that. So.
Finally, cleared it up.
Yes.
Got it. That's a good story. I'm sure there's more to it. But also, you kind of mentioned briefly, I think in your last statement, you have a big background in with your experience in the teaching aspect. Can you dive into that a little bit for us?
Sure. I started teaching way back in the dark ages in the 90s. And for about 10 or 11 years, I was a classroom teacher. I taught mostly in private college prep schools in the Dallas area, and I was, you know, a math teacher. And about 10 or so years into my teaching career, I realized that what I loved were the kids that couldn't learn the math. I mean, the math was not a challenge for me, but teaching children who could not learn math was the challenge, and finding out how to speak with them, you know, in what language, so to speak, you know, that I could communicate with them for them to understand the concepts. So during that time, while I was in the classroom, I earned my master's in secondary math education at the University of Texas in Dallas. And I went back after I made this realization and did some self-training and took some coursework and got certified in special education. My math teacher friends thought I was nuts. They were like, why would you want to do that?
That's funny.
But those are the kind of kids I love to teach. And one of my colleagues at one of the schools I taught at told me that I collected the strays. So that to me was just another sign that, you know, I had a gift to work with these kind of kids. So
sure.
a dream of mine was to have a tutoring business. And again, it kind of happened organically. A friend of mine and I, one of our former principals was actually trying to get out of her tutoring business, and we just said, well, let's do this. And we bought the business and had a very successful tutoring business in the Dallas area called Paideia Dallas Education.
And so when you say teach math, and I'm throwing another question at you, so what kind of math was it? Basic math, advanced math, or teaching just basic concepts of math? What was your expertise in that area?
So most of my experience is in secondary math, starting at the high school level. So starting with Algebra 1 up through the first semester of calculus.
Oh gosh, you just you just brought back some memories. I remember Algebra 1, I remember Algebra 2, and I remember calculus. And you know what I remember about calculus? I hope you're impressed by this.
Yeah.
I had to learn all these theorems and put them in order. Right? Yeah. And if you didn't know the theorems, you weren't going to fix the problem.
That's right.
You know, I discovered I had that math side to my brain. It came about, right? I didn't realize I had it till I started taking these classes in high school. Isn't that funny how you discover things that work? And I could see it, you know, I could understand it. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Hey, so you've got a question on here about what is an educational therapist? Is that the arena you're in?
Well, so after I bought my business in Dallas with my friend, I had a colleague who was an educational therapist, and I was very, very curious about the work that she did, especially with my interest in working with kids, you know, that had learning problems. And so there is an outfit called Association of Educational Therapists, which certifies people, and I went through extra training, and I had to do observed hours. I had to do a lot of one-on-one time with her. There was a whole, you know, program of a process that I had to go through in order to get this certification as an ed therapist. And so what ed therapists basically do is work with kids who have learning differences, and we offer you know, so we understand, like, when a student comes to us that has either a neuropsych evaluation or an ed psych evaluation, you know, that talks about, you know, the testing that they've been through and, you know, the types of learning issues that they're experiencing, you know, we understand those evaluations and then know how to proceed with working in the child in the most effective manner.
And so an educational therapist is another level of certification. Is that what I'm hearing you say also?
That is correct. And
okay.
Again, and primarily it's for kids, you know, who have diagnosed learning differences, but that applies to best practices for teaching, you know, all children as well.
Okay,
you know.
got it. So listen, we're talking to Kathy Pieper today on the Austin Biz Buzz. And Kathy, this is a great opportunity to tell people the best way to find you. And now I know you have a website. Could you tell us what that is?
Yes, I have a website called learningsycletutors.com. That's all one word. The best way to reach me, I do have an Austin number. It's 512-766-9929. Or you can email me at Kathy@learningsycletutors.com, and that's Kathy with a K.
Awesome. And we'll make sure, guys, that we post that on the description in the podcast when you guys are listening to this on demand. So you'll have all that contact information from Kathy right where you can easily reach her. Hey, so you also mentioned some of the other services that you offer. Can you dive into those a little bit for us?
Sure. So we have tutors that work for me with this company that can tutor pretty much in all subject areas and all age levels, and they all have experience in education in their field. And then I personally, because of my certification as an ed therapist, there are certain evaluations that I have a license to be able to administer. The most common one is it's called the Kaufman test, and these are Pearson examinations. And the Kaufman is just a great overall test of abilities of where your kid is this day, this time, as he or she compares to children, at the same age level. And so it's a standardized test. Educational diagnosticians and psychologists, probably charge upwards of $1,500 to get a complete psych ed evaluation. But if you're kind of on the border, and just want to know, okay, where is my kid? How does he or she rate? Then I can give this assessment for a much, much reduced price. And then you can, make a decision of, well, maybe I do need to have further testing done, or maybe I'm happy with, what I see. So that's probably the biggest other service that I offer. Besides that, our tutors do offer test prep. So individualized ACT and SAT, or like if your child has to take a test to get into a private high school that you're interested in, we can also do test prep for those tests.
And so I'm assuming, and maybe that's the wrong thing to do, that a lot of this work in tutoring is exactly what it is. It's a lot of one-to-one, right? The tutoring's not done in groups. It's through one-to-one.
Yes, we do one-on-one tutoring, and we go into your home. That's kind of like the niche. When Mike set this business up, that was kind of like his vision for that is, it's personalized education for your child in your home.
Super. We are talking to Kathy Pieper, and she is with the Learning Cycle Tutor, and we're going to take a short break and hear just a 16-second message from my sponsor, and we'll be right back. Okay.
Thanks, Herdy. I'm really proud to be sponsoring the Austin Biz Buzz. If you'd like your business to be more profitable, I'd love to talk with you. That's what we do here at Money Coach LLC is we help businesses be more profitable. Love to talk with you, see if we can help you out, make you better. You can find us at the internet at www.mkoneal.com. That's www.mkoneal.com. Thanks. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, we're back. Kathy, great to have you, and I'm having a wonderful time learning about the Learning Cycle Tutor and talking to you. And we have a few more questions for you today on the Austin Biz Buzz, and that is I guess I don't know really how to ask this except the way you wrote it. So I guess there's a difference between X and Y, right? So what sets you apart from other tutors? Is that where you want me to go with this question?
Yeah, and I think that goes to what I was speaking with before the break in that, we do offer, individualized service in your home. So that, takes out one less trip for you during your busy school, days. I know how crazy everybody's schedules are these days. The other thing is, personally, you're getting tons of experience and education with all of our tutors. And I can mostly speak for myself in that, having been in the tutoring business now for as long as I've been, I have seen so many different curriculums, so many different ways that teachers teach that I have a vast tool bag, filled with, ways that I can, work with your child. One thing is, I will often tell parents is that I may see another student in your child's class the very next hour, but how I speak with your child and how I teach that child might be two entirely different ways, even though it's the same concept.
And so I would say also what sets you apart is what I'm hearing is there's a lot of experience that goes into having this long future of teaching and doing tutor work, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess you guys provide other subjects. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yep. I have people that work for me that can do English, sciences, physics and chemistry. I know that's a big,
fun stuff.
Hot area. I do have one person that can do Spanish. And then I have, a couple of people that can do, like particularly in middle school, a lot of times kids just need like a homework coach or, someone to keep them on track as far as, okay, this assignment is due this day, this assignment is due this day, is due on this day to help them, with time management and study skills.
Now, everything I've heard so far tells me that you might have some very strange hours. Am I correct? Am I correct in saying that?
You are correct. I work Monday through Thursday every evening. Pretty much those are out. That's when I have to work when kids are not in school. I see
Right.
kids on the weekend. I usually have several kids late Sunday afternoons. Also, one thing that I did in Dallas, which is an area of growth for me here, but I was approved on several of the big private school, college prep private schools. I was on their approved list where I had to go into, I had to get background checks. I had to go through, sensitivity training and, extra training to get approved to be on their list to be able to come into the schools and tutor. And I know that there are schools in the Austin area that allow that. It's just that that's one area of growth that I need, that I can go into those schools during the day.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask that you didn't ask me in the questions, and I've kind of put this down on my notes the other day, was what is your typical way that people find you? In other words, is it through referrals? Is it because you work in the academic area that you're out and about and you know so many people? How do people connect with you?
Well, so that is an interesting question, because when I was in Dallas, it was all 100% referrals. I had teachers and learning specialists within these schools that would refer to me, because they had students that, had great success with what I did. And then parents who, I even had one parent say she didn't want to refer me because she wanted me to make sure that I always had time for her kid.
Selfish.
So in Dallas, I did not ever have to advertise because of that referral network. Here in, Central Texas, because I'm, largely an unknown, I'm looking to change that. I have had some referrals from parents that I do have. And then in addition, I'm doing some Facebook advertising. I've tried some print advertising, and then I'm just networking with other business owners, in the area.
So you're doing pretty much the normal things to get the kids. And I guess that leads to another question we haven't asked, and that is, what generally age group do you work with kids?
So I personally work with secondary kids. So I would say 7th grade up. But I do have tutors that can work with all age groups.
Okay, so if you can't handle it, you can push somebody else out there to do it. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah.
So what parts of town do you service? Are you Austin wide? Are you outside of Austin? Can you tell us a little bit about where you prefer or preferred areas you work in?
Currently, most of our students are in the, Cedar Park, Leander, Round Rock area. But again, because I do have the area for growth during the daytime hours, that can include homeschool kids. There is a private school in, Central Austin that I do go to. And then I know that there are other private schools in the Austin area that are yet untapped, but I would be able to go into them. So I'm willing, to drive into Austin during the day if there are schools that will allow me on campus.
That's great. So, hey, we're gonna have some fun now, okay? You don't know about this.
Oh, no. Is this a math test?
No, it's not 2 + 2 or whatever, or pi squared or whatever you want to call it. This is where Herdy has some fun, because we want to get to know Kathy. So, I always like to surprise some of my online guests. It's really simple, hot questions, so you'll like it. So the first one is, Kathy, favorite color?
Purple.
Purple. All right, cool. Do you wear a lot of purple?
I don't. Well, I'm kind of go back and forth between purple and green, and I wear a fair amount of both. Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. And favorite food?
Oh, it's got to be Mexican.
There you go. And hometown?
Gosh, wow.
Do you consider Dallas home since you lived there for so long?
You know, I do more than, after having left there, I do more than I ever did while I was there, I have to say. I was there for 36 years. And so I would say, yeah, Dallas, I mean,
Yeah.
probably Richardson area.
I would say if you've been somewhere 36 years, you can claim that, okay? Especially.
I'm originally from Cincinnati. I grew up in Cincinnati. But
Awesome. Right across the river from Covington, Kentucky.
Absolutely.
I had my college roommate was from Covington.
Well,
So
and
that's
Jerry
cool.
Springer, you know, was from Newport. So
Yeah, there you go. So awesome. Okay, so I want to know what high school band you went and saw when you were in high school.
well, that would probably have to be, you mean like a high school band? Like,
No, I meant what was your first band? Let me rephrase that. What was the
oh
first
my
band
gosh,
you went and saw when you were in high school?
Jethro Tull when I was
Oh
16
my
years
goodness.
old. Yep. It was back in the day when
Yes.
the river, or the Coliseum at Riverfront in Cincinnati, they still did the stadium seating before they had the huge Who concert catastrophe, in which
Yep.
that was a bad thing. But,
Yeah, but Jethro Tull was awesome.
but yes, he was.
You're going to make me go put my earphones on and dig that up on YouTube today. Thank you very much for that. And so favorite places, favorite things since you've been in Austin you like to do, what areas have you found and discovered that you really like?
Well, about 3 years ago, I started having a huge passion for being on a motorcycle. And I actually own a Can-Am Spyder, and there's a group that I ride with that we've been all over the hill country and all over the east side of Austin, and I just absolutely love it.
All right, folks, we've been talking to Kathy Pieper from Learning Cycle Tutor, and it's been a privilege having you on the Austin Biz Buzz. And, you know, we do build the buzz about Austin business. And Kathy, is there anything I missed? Any final thoughts?
No, I just want to express my gratitude to you. I'm very grateful, and this has been a lot of fun, and you've made it very easy. So,
Well, that's good to know. I'm glad I could do that. Well, folks, you've been listening. Oh, let's do one more thing before we get off. Let's make sure we give them the contact information again, Kathy. Let's give them the website and the best way to contact you.
okay, sure. It's Learning Cycle Tutors. We build confidence, competence, and character. And the website is learningsycletutors.com. My phone number is 512-766-9929. And you can email me at Kathy@learningsycletutors.com, and that's Kathy with a K.